Yeah, I would like to welcome all of you for the fifth AFINet conference. It's the third remote one, and we had also two other face-to-face conferences. And although most of you certainly are members of AFINet, I wanted to briefly introduce what AFINet is all about. AFINet, the Addiction and the Family International Network, has its 10th anniversary today. So this also is a great issue. And we have been growing during the last 10 years and now have 849 members from 57 countries all around the world. And we're still aiming to expand even more. The core aims of AFINet is to disseminate internationally a non-pathological family member-centered model of the circumstances and needs of family members who are affected by an addiction of a relative or a loved one. And the second aim is to promote research about the experiences of family members affected by their relatives' addiction around the world. But also, the third aim is to promote good evidence-based, non-stigmatizing prevention and treatment practice relevant to the needs of those affected by addiction in their family. And we also would like to advocate with policymakers, including international organizations and national governments, for greater awareness of the circumstances and needs of family members and for better services for them. And we want to raise awareness at a global level of the needs of family members affected by addiction. My name is Gallus Bischoff. I didn't introduce myself. I'm a psychologist from Germany and currently am the chair of trustees of AFINet. The trustees are a kind of steering committee. We're all volunteers following these core aims. And we're a small charity organization. And since we were asked before this conference also, I would like to tell you that all the fees you have spent for this conference, they go in to support ongoing costs that AFINet has, like the website, or also providing support for conferences, bursaries for people in need who want to join. So it's a very active and welcome support of everything AFINet is doing. And today's conference, we were very positively surprised that even after the pandemic, which led us initially to start with online conferences, there's still a big interest in joining these conferences, and we think that these conferences also are an important window of opportunity for members of AFINet to present their research findings and what they are doing. Besides the regular webinars AFINet is holding, you can find more information on the AFINet website, which most of you will know, but we will also provide the details for you during the conference. And for today's conference, we were quite overwhelmed regarding the number of submissions we received. So we had to reject some abstracts, which was rather painful for us, but we're happy that we were able to put together, I think, a quite interesting and diverse program that also covers various aspects of what family members affected by addiction are going through. And I'm also very pleased that we have some presenters from the Global South among us, and we also hope that membership will also increase in these countries. And here I also would like to express my gratitude, especially to Richard Wellman, who did a lot of work in preparing this conference, to Emmy Kaupila. You can see both of them, they got their camera on, but also to Sari Giovanzu, who is doing a lot of technical support, and to Jill Velleman, who also has done a lot of structural support, and she will still be chasing a very tiny portion of participants who haven't paid their conference fees yet, so be prepared. And regarding the technical aspects of the conference, we would like you to put down your camera while presentations are going on, because otherwise there might be some technical issues with internet connectivity. And after each presentation, there will be space for discussion. After the brief presentation, it will be 5 minutes, and if you have questions or comments, you can use your raise your hand function, which you can find on at least in my issue here, it's on the upper right side. And but you can also post comments in the comment section. But on the other hand, the chairs really will have to keep strictly to the timeline. So it's possible that not all questions can be answered during the time we have. And today, after the conference program, the annual general meeting of AFINet will be taking place. And to all of you who are not AFINet members, I wanted to point out that AFINet membership is free, and we're also not planning to invent any fees. And being an AFINet member gives you the opportunity to access also the members only section of the website, which is a repository of family related materials. So I would strongly encourage you, if you are not yet member of AFINet, to join AFINet. Yeah, so right, also the timing of the conference, that we're starting on the afternoon UK time today, and we will start in the morning UK time tomorrow, is because we got members from all over the world. I know from previous conferences that there are always a few people who think sleep is overrated and who join us in the middle of the night. But our aim was to give people from all over the world the opportunity to join this conference. And we're also planning to have remote conferences on a biannual level in the future. And I also would like to promote to all of you that there will be a face-to-face conference next year in May in Quebec in Canada, hosted by Je Tremblay. And we all agree among the trustees that it's much nicer to see people face-to-face. But on the other hand, all these meetings, you know, they're well associated with costs for traveling, accommodation, and so on. So I also think that remote conferences are a very good platform to interact with each other and also to people who might otherwise not be able to attend the presentations that AFINet conferences offer. And I already mentioned before we had the start of this conference that I'm also involved in another conference. So I fear that maybe I might have forgotten some important issues. So I'm looking direction of Emmy and Richard if there are any important aspects you want to add.
Well, I'll jump in, Gallus, firstly to thank you very much for introducing it, and thank you for all your work, both for this conference and for AFINet as chair of our trustees. And I would very much like to thank Emmy, who is secretary of the trustees, but does things vastly above and beyond that role. So thank you very much. You mentioned Jill, who's taken a lot of work on the finance. Eileen Ferrara, of course, who's done a huge amount on publicity. And thank you. I'm not sure if Eileen is here at the moment, but thank you hugely to Eileen for all the work that you do on the publicity. And Samantha Blakemore, Sam in Boston, who looked after all the registrations for the conference. And I must say that we've got just under 100 registrations for this conference. If you look through the screens, you'll see there aren't 100 people who are logged on. And that's because it's the middle of the night in Australia and New Zealand and lots of other places where people are coming tomorrow, and all the people from the west of the world, if you're very sort of Eurocentric, like some of us are, all the people to the west of the world won't be on tomorrow because it'll be in the middle of the night for them. But having 100 people for these 2 days is really excellent. The other people I'd particularly like to thank are my colleagues on the scientific committee who helped assess the submitted abstracts and helped put the program together, and that's obviously Gallus and Emmy, as well as fellow AFINet trustees Ruth McGovern and Anne Whitaker. So thank you very much, both of you, Ruth and Anne, for all your work on this. And of course, Sari, you've already been thanked, but it's not just you. There's a whole raft of colleagues in the AFINet Foundation who have actually, ever since we decided to do things remotely, so at the same time as the conference, we also started doing our webinars, which were originally every month, and then after the pandemic we reverted back to every 2 months, but all the technicals for that are all done by our colleagues in the AFINet Foundation in Finland. One of the most exciting things I think about being part of this growing AFINet group is how international it is, and how some of the technical support comes from Finland, and our chair is from Germany, and the registrations are sorted out in the USA. And it's very exciting that all these different people in different countries are working together in this way. So
wonderful. Thank you so much. I think we're already about to start with the first keynote. And since you, Richard, will have